children beyond the walls. The forest is brimming with real wolves.
Wait!
You can come out now.
You're a
Wolf Walker.
Cameron, I appreciate that you're making the time for me because as we speak, TIFF is going on right now. How are things going so far with this great festival? Of course, it being different, dealing with COVID-19 and all the changes that you folks have been able to make, but still have a great festival.
It's great to talk to you again, Rudy, and it is actually going really well. It is a very different festival than we've ever done before. We are doing a hybrid festival, so we have some screenings in our own building in TIFF Bell Lightbox. 3 of the cinemas we're using, but with physical distancing and all kinds of new public health measures because of COVID. But we're also drive-ins we're using and a new online platform where a lot of people are actually watching festival movies from home this year, which is new. And I think a lot of people like the idea of just kind of, rolling out of bed and chilling with a coffee or whatever and watching a film at home.
I have to agree with that because the things I've been seeing on social media is a lot of people making comments on the films that they're seeing as they're at home. So congratulations on that. What's the balance between Canadian films and international films this year?
Well, a third of our selection this year is from right here, Canadian filmmakers, both on the feature and short level, fiction and doc. A third of the films are Canadian.
One of the things that I saw in an interview that you had done earlier was looking at cultural and indigenous and things like that. The festival this year has really been championing those kind of things this year.
Yeah, we have, and it's it's not new, but I think there is a kind of a greater emphasis this year on just finding voices that have been underrepresented communities that we haven't seen on the big screen often enough, and seeing if there's some great stories there. It turns out there are. We've got some terrific new films by Indigenous filmmakers, Canadian filmmakers. 2 of them feature films. One called Beans by Tracy Deer, who did a TV series called Mohawk Girls, people might know. She's got a new film set during the so-called Oka crisis, and she was actually on the Ganawage Reserve as a little girl herself growing up during that time. It was kind of her story in a way, although it's fictionalized. And then Inconvenient Indian is adapting the Thomas King book, which is really, I think, a must-watch for anyone in this country if you want to understand the relationship between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Canadians. And then a new series as well called Trickster that Michelle Latimer, who also directed Inconvenient Indian, has made. So it's a great lineup on that side. And then all kinds of great Black films as well, films by Asian filmmakers. You've got a film called No Ordinary Man, which is, I think, one of the strongest films about trans people. It's the story of Billy Tipton, a jazz musician who was trans, but lived at a time when that wasn't really understood very well. And it's a really fascinating approach to telling Billy's story. So there's a real mix of films, some great stuff. If you want to just explore characters, people, perspectives that might not be so familiar to you, or that reflect what you've lived but you haven't seen on screen enough, this is a good year for.
Definitely on that. The other thing too for the last few years also is female directors, females just in the background and making films, writing films. You folks have been able to champion that also in getting that at the Toronto International Film Festival.
Yeah, I think one of the highest profile films with the most buzz this year is a film called Nomad Land, directed by Chloe Zhao. It's a Chinese-American filmmaker. This stars Frances McDormand, just coming off her Oscar for 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. And it's just a terrific film, getting some of the best reviews of any film that we have. Just won the top prize at the Venice Film Festival, and it's one of many, many films from all over the world directed by women. Right now, this year, I think 46% of the films in our festival are directed by women, and that's a big change for us. Just going back maybe 4 or 5 years, we were more around, 25, 26%, and we've made great strides in just a short time.
Now, I understand, too, there's an award show that's going to be coming up also, correct?
That's right. Yeah. Tomorrow, the TIFF Tribute Gala is going to be broadcast, and that's something we're doing for the first time. And it's because of the pandemic. We found a really creative solution with our friends over at CTV, and so they're going to broadcast it. It'll also be available outside of Canada on Variety, the trade publication, their online platforms. And it's terrific. We're giving out recognition for acting, for directing. There's an emerging artist award that Tracy Deer, the director of Beans, is receiving, and some great people presenting as well, Ava DuVernay and many, many others. So it's going to be, I think, a big night.
Just two more questions as we're wrapping this up. One, what other films do you feel, I mean, they're all great films, feature or short films, animated. What films really stick out for you right now that you think folks need to check out this gem?
Oh, there are so many.
I know
what you're looking for, but Wolf Walkers. You mentioned animated. Wolf Walkers is an animated feature from an Irish group of animators who people will know from Secret of Kells and a number of other films. Just beautiful, gorgeous 2D animation, which is a nice kind of going back to the older style of animation before computer animation took over everything. Just gorgeous story using the myths of Ireland and that culture.
When she sleeps, she turns into a wolf. She's a wolf walker.
Something's happened to me.
Be a wolf!
There's a number of films internationally that I like. One from India called The Disciple by a young Indian filmmaker making only his second feature, but he's a real talent. He's already caught the attention of Alfonso Cuarón, the great Mexican director who has come on board as an executive producer and his kind of mentor. And it's just a gorgeous story of a young musician working under a very demanding master musician, kind of like a sort of more gentle version of Whiplash. Very beautiful storytelling. And there are just so many, but those are two I've mentioned.
Are you already thinking about what may happen next year? As we know, this whole thing is changing every day and every moment. Are you thinking about how you want to do things next year?
Oh, we always are. Yeah, absolutely. We're taking lessons from what we're learning this year. We know that some elements are working super well, and even if the pandemic is behind us by next September, which it may well not be, but if it is, there's still some things that we've done this year, new innovations that we'd want to continue. I think some of what we've done online has been great. We've had incredible talks with people like Halle Berry and the Italian director Luca Guadagnino and many others, and we want to do more of that. Those are accessible to anybody all over the world. So we want to make sure we do more things like that. We've had some of the outdoor screenings go over really well. So we're going to look at all of that, but we'll wait until the festival is over and sit down and do a really solid assessment of what worked, what we want to bring back. And also, we'll just have to pay attention to just what the health situation is like here in Toronto and internationally over the next few months, because we're going to have to respond to whatever the reality is.
And I cannot wait to see some of these great stories told on the big screen, and especially, there'll be several of them that probably have to do with COVID-19, so I'm looking forward to see what these filmmakers are going to be doing. Cameron, always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much. Thank you for keeping this festival going this year, and all the folks behind the scenes, too, and looking forward to seeing all the rest of the films at the Toronto International Film Festival.
Thanks so much, Rudy. Thanks to you, too.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.